Welcome to day number 4. Need some Christmas cards in a hurry? So today I'm going to be looking at creating 8 quick and easy Christmas cards from DigiDownloads. So these are the ephemera sheets that I've printed off, and these contain some vintage Christmas images plus the digital artwork that I've created for the Christmas postcards. So you also get those on the sheets as well. And I've included 3 of the Christmas music sheets on that sheet as well, so you can use those in the creation for scrapbook pages, you can use them for card making, or also if you're wanting to use them for art journals, you can do that as well. So these are the images that are also available in the physical postcard artwork like my other set as well. So I'm going to be making some quick and easy Christmas cards using these images today, but I'm also going to be incorporating some of the or using some of the backing papers from my 8x8 digi sets as well. Now this is set number 1, so you have, let me just move that to one side there. So this is set number 1. So those are the pattern papers, and then these are the papers that go with them. So you'll see that there is one that matches with the pattern for each and every one of the sheets. So the Harlequin pattern, there is also a separate sheet for that Harlequin, and then you've got that kind of Baroque tile in set number 1, and then in set number 2 you have the similar sort of thing. You've got the 4 digitally collaged images or layered images, and again there's that beautiful Christmas blue for each one. So that goes with that one, the green one with the green damask, the blue damask, and the red damask also. So if you're wanting to make large size Christmas cards, these are perfect because you could use that on the front and that on the inside for decoration. Absolutely perfect. If you're making mini albums and that kind of stuff, then these are also perfect for you too. And they're available on my website and on my Etsy store for download as of now. So those are the sets, so set 1 and set number 2, and they are the 8x8 Christmas, vintage Christmas digi papers. So I'm going to be using some of the backing papers, not the graphic ones, those ones, but the actual plain ones, in the creation of some of my quick and easy cards today. So let's get started. So I have my paper trimmer, and I'm going to be using black linen cardstock today. This has a slight linen texture to it. Now the reason I'm using black is because I always find it's a really classy colour to use, and although it's for Christmas, black is still a very, very good colour that you can use for Christmas. Now to make my normal standard size British or European A6 size cards, which are exactly the same or almost the same as the American A2. So I'm just going to cut my card. Now you can do this if you're using 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Just cut it on the tall side, the portrait side, right down the middle. And then all we're going to do is fold those in half to create our top fold card base. And I said these are going to be very quick and easy cards to do. So I'm going to do 8 of these today. So I'm going to repeat the same process over and over again. So where it's going to be repetitive, I will just skim through it just to keep the interest going. So I've got another 6 of these to go. So I will get on and do that, and then we'll start decorating. So now taking those DigiDownload sheets, I'm going to be cutting a small panel from each of the sheets, which is about 1/4 inch or about 4 millimeters shorter on both of the dimensional sides, so the height and the width. And I'll be doing one for each one. Now the beauty of these 8x8s is that once you've cut this size, what you've got left over is practically the same again. So you could theoretically make 16 cards out of this set. So all my backing papers are now cut out and are at exactly the right size that I need them. So all I'm going to do now is use the blade of my scissors as a scruffing tool, and I'm going to go around each and every one of the backing paper panels and then glue it onto the base card. Because this is a repetitive process, I'll show you me doing the first couple and then I will jump to that point where I've completed all 8. So that's now all 8 of my card bases covered with the digiprints. Time to start cutting out the ephemera. So I'm going to start cutting out all these little postcards and I'll be right back. So all I'm going to do is just cut out the postcard ephemera bits just by hand using a pair of scissors, but I'm not being 100% perfectly careful with making sure I keep to the line, because I'm going to distress the edges of these as well, so I know that I don't need to be 100% perfect with it. So it's more of a process of getting it done quickly. So you've seen me cut these few out, so what I'll do next is I will just edit the video so we jump to the end where all the postcards are already cut out. So all of my postcard images or little vintage Christmas images are cut out. There are 4 which are portrait orientation and 4 which are landscape orientation. And as you can see, they're just perfect, just the right size for putting onto the front of a card. So I have to decide. I've also cut out the music sheet ephemera bits as well. If you've purchased the digi-downloads of these, you can resize them. So if you wanted to make them even smaller, you could do. You just have to reduce the file size down. Now, for the portrait ones, I'm going to make sure that if I have a pattern that's got a right way and a wrong way, like the damask, I'm going to make sure that I team up the damask with a portrait one. So I'm going to put the damasks, so all those can go, looks better that way, looks better that way, looks better that way. So we've got 4 that can be used landscape and 4 that have to be used portrait. So that kind of informs which way around my cards are going to go. So all I have to do now is to decide which ones of the images I'm going to team up with those. So I'm going to do that on the fly. And I'm also going to introduce just a few bits and pieces of ephemera. And I've also got some of the bits of ephemera that I left from here, so if I think it needs something extra, I will add that in too. So I'm going to go away and start scruffing up again. I'm going to scruff and go and glue and just do it. So I'm just sorting them out now, deciding which ones are going to go onto which background. So I'm just choosing the best colour combination for them to stand out, and I think I'm happy with that one. Okay, so off we go. I'm going to just put the others away for now so I don't knock them on the floor and then get started. So I'm using the blade of my scissors. I'm just going to scruff up the edges of each one of the ephemera postcards. Now I know there is a tool that you can get for this, but I've misplaced mine and I haven't got time to go look for it. Somebody may have borrowed it and not brought it back. Who knows? So I'm just having to use the blade of my knife or the scissors for the time being. So as you can see, I'm just going to tear up some of those music strips as well, just to have some extra bits that I can layer with my main focal point for the cards. Because this is going to be a kind of repetitive process, once you've seen me do one of the cards, you've pretty much seen exactly what I'm going to do with the other 3 of the portrait ones. So I'll show you the full process of the first card and a little bit of the second, and then I'll jump to starting on the landscape versions. I'm just going to jump back in at this point as I'm finishing off the last of the portrait ones, because I wanted just to quickly show you what I was going to do with an extra piece of the ephemera that's on one of those digi-download sheets. The December 25th calendar sheet I wanted to add as a little bit of dimensional items, so I'm just going around the edges with some distressing, actually it's the potting soil archival ink, and then I'm just going to add some foam pop dots onto the back, and then I'm going to add that to the front of this final portrait card above or over the top of that smaller version, just to add that little bit of extra depth and dimension. Now it's time to move on to the landscape ones. Because I'd already decided what colour combinations to use on the portrait versions, I'm pretty much going to stick to that same colour combination for the landscape one. So I'm going to do the white on the blue, the brown sepia bordered one on the pale cream one. I'm going to put the green on the red and the red on the green. Only natural. It's Christmas after all. And again, because this is going to be a bit of a repetitive process, I will show you just finishing off the first one and starting the second, and then I will jump to the point where I've just about finished the last or the fourth landscape version. So we're just jumping back in as I'm just adding the focal image of the last landscape version. I'm just adding some little pieces of that music paper tucked in behind the tears on the main focal point. So those are the 8 of the cards. Distressed, quick and easy cards, but I want to add a final little bit of bling to it, so I'm using the Encore Ultimate Metallic Gold from Sukaniko and an old grunge splatter stamp. I'm just going to take and just add a few gold highlights here and there. And I'm going to do that on each one, just to add a little bit of interest into the card, that when it catches the light, that's what you'll see. Maybe some just in the middle. Brilliant. So all I'm going to do now is just quickly whiz through me adding those gold splatters, those little gold highlights onto every single one. And then once that's complete, we're pretty much done. And there you have it. 8 finished cards in next to no time, all from a couple of digi-downloads. I hope you've enjoyed watching these cards being created. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with all your friends, and you can hit that subscribe button at the end of the video if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already. That's all from me for today. I'll be back again tomorrow.